Hello everybody, welcome to North of Blues Market Overview. Today is November 22nd. We'll be talking about what happened in the market today. As you know, the market actually closed down except for the NASDAQ, which ended in the up day. And what we are looking at right now is the chart for EEM, which is the emerging markets, what I use to see if we are in a bullish or bearish market. Now the opposite of this right now that I am using is UUP, which is the US dollar. So real quickly, let's go ahead and take a look at the support line. Click on that little green bar right there, horizontal, is the support line. And it is you should take notice that this thick black line is actually the trend line, and that's where we trade. Of when the trend line goes north of blue, that is when we actually enter a stock. When it goes south of blue, that's when we exit a stock. Now this thin black line is called the channel. The channel is actually the gap between this, and if we click on bars, we can definitely see the channel. The thin black line is where the close is, and the trend is where the low is. So that is what the channel is called, or the channel gap. So as you can see, if I click on that support line and click off the trend, we see the low today is right at the blue moving average, and that's how accurate with the blue moving average. So we can see the low sits on the average while we actually closed above that support line, which is a good sign. Usually it will take 5 days of testing, heavy testing, and so as you can tell, we're definitely doing some heavy testing right here. We had a red sell day of about 16 cents. Good thing though, the upward price strength and high price strength are still moving on up. As we can see, there's a little gap in the upward price strength with only a volume of 60%, but that's not surprising since it is Thanksgiving week. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at up. And these two charts are very important to look at together, because as you can see, EEM had that kind of a resistance line at this point, and here is up. The dollar, as you can see, the dollar had a very nice gain in November since the market's been going down. And as you recall, since the markets are working against the US dollar, if the dollar rises, the markets will fall, and vice versa. So right now, if you want the market to rise, you want the dollar to fall. And right here, as you can see, there's a support line right here. We click on the bars and off the trend real quick. We're sitting right on the blue moving average, and it has not fallen through yet. So this is really being tested too as a support line. So we will see if this stays true. If this falls below, if the UUP falls below this support line, then we will see the markets rise, and EEM should jump up past that resistance line we saw on the last chart. So let me explain a little bit about these power lines right here. When the blue is above the black, we get these sort of bounces, and as you can see right here in September, I'll use this as an example. You see this blue line comes up here, which means heavy volume. The price hasn't changed much. If you look at the price chart, you can see that this blue line correlates with the blue moving average. It bounces off. If the blue is above here, it bounces off the blue moving average and falls. And it's sort of doing that again right here. We have seen a little gap up. Let's take off the bars real quick. We have seen one day where it's actually the trend line is above the blue moving average. So right now I am expecting this to fall back down below this resistance line because this blue is above the black. And so let's go ahead and recap on EEM as well. So remember this. Support line right here holding the dollar up at this point. Go back to EEM, and we have the reverse. The black is above the blue, so that is a good sign, and we are waiting for this to pierce, this trend line to pierce through this resistance line at this point. So once we see that happen, the market should be making a move back up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow real quickly. DIA, as you can see, the trend line gap down, the power lines are going up with a red day. So things are not lining up. So if these continue to go up, the trend line should follow. So we will see what happens in trading tomorrow. And for the S&P 500, as you can see, if this yellow day ever appears for you, simply click +1 day, and it will get that yellow line off. There we go. So we had a red sell day in the S&P 500. The power line is still moving up, and the trend down a little bit. But as you can see, why these haven't fallen down, these power lines, is because yes, there is a very large gap, but the price hasn't changed that much with that black channel line We click on the bars again and click off trend. You see these three prices right here are pretty much in the same area. So these will continue to rise until these fall down significantly. And then let's take a look at the NASDAQ or the Qs. And today we had a very nice day in the NASDAQ coming up. Power lines, blue day, so all is good in the technology sector. Now let's go ahead and recap some of the stocks we talked about in the market overview and the watch list. Apple moving up over $6 today, which is very nice for Apple. Black over blue with the blue buy day, so it's looking very good for Apple right now. And let's go ahead and take a look at Amazon. Amazon moving up quite nicely, so that was great. It really bounced off that support line right here. Let's click on the bars. As you can see, a very large gap up today. And Netflix was the same story. Netflix, a very nice gain today. It was, I believe, over $15. So, a very nice gain for Netflix. And let's take a look at the other few that we talked about yesterday, which was Google. Real quickly, okay. So Google's kind of same look at the markets, really didn't move much at all. So the volume's still dropping down high price. The upper price staying the same though, so we should probably see this bounce right off that 15%. So Google just staying steady, not really doing much. And then let's take a look at Tick real quick. What did Tick do today? TICC, blue day, actually spiked up quite a bit. Take a look at the bar. Okay, let's pull off the bars. So we actually saw a heavy trading day for TICC. Black still above the blue, which is a good sign. And real quickly, let's take a look at silver and gold. So here is SLV silver today. Gained about 50 cents, I believe. So black is over the blue. A lot of blue buying days, and as you can see, came back down around I think 24.30, and then came screaming right back up. And last but not least, let's take a look at GLD, gold. Gold had a little gain today, not much. So it just bounced right off the blue,